Everyone, good morning and all that jazz. Okay, my name is Oscar, and I expect to see like exactly zero hands from this question. But how many of you have gone out to see a play in the last year? All right. How many of you have gone to see a play in the last year because you wanted to and not because it's for a school assignment? Really? Oh, you guys are great. Okay. So my cultural artifact that I have here is this director's megaphone. And as a former actor and director, I've used this megaphone like a lot, like every day basically. Well, every day that I directed. And so to me, this represents not only the act of directing, but also theater culture. And I think that theater culture is something that's truly beautiful and something that most people don't really know enough about. So by speaking to you about theater culture, you will hopefully have a better understanding of it and hopefully an appreciation for it. So first, I'll speak about how this director's megaphone represents theater culture and why it is that I identify with theater culture. So, this director's megaphone represents theater culture mainly because the act of directing is just so important in the play rehearsal process. So, the job of a director is to watch over basically everything that goes on during the rehearsal. And that director must know an actor's strengths, their weaknesses, what they can do to portray a certain role better. They must also, They must also, one thing that they have to do a lot, like this is like the biggest, well, personally, my biggest issue that I face all the time as a director is helping people with their enunciation and their projection. Because actors, when they're acting on stage, they may sometimes forget that the audience doesn't know the script as well as you do. So, if you're acting on stage and you like recite a line but don't really enunciate it properly, like you kind of mumble it, then the audience could miss a very important part of the play's plot, and you do not want that at all. And here's where the megaphone comes in. So what I did as a director to make sure that actors were enunciating and projecting, I would sit like at the back seat rows of the audience and see if I can hear them correctly. And if they didn't, I'd break out my megaphone and tell them to project because they really have to project, and sometimes I'm annoying some to project like every 5 seconds. Okay. And a director must also be able to adapt. And what I mean by that is that actors will occasionally give you like tips or like suggestions on how a certain character should act. And as a director, it is your duty to listen to what they have to say because those suggestions may change the dynamics of the play for the better. And if you are just not listening to them just because I'm the director and what I say is law and nothing is more correct than I am, then you're doing a disservice to the production. And it's not just actors that give you directions. Anyone who's part of the production, like makeup crews, stage designers, and people like technology specialists, they may all of them may also like give you some suggestions. And like I said, it is your duty as a director to pay attention to every single one of those suggestions. And as you can see, communication is a very big part of theater. And what better way to represent communication than with a megaphone? And so now that I've talked about why the director's megaphone represents theater culture, I'll now talk about why I identify with it. So during the last few months of my freshman year of high school, friends of mine signed me up to the auditions for the school's spring play without telling me, and I was so mad. I was like so close to squaring up. And so I was really mad, guys. So yeah, she signed me up for the auditions for the spring play. And like before this, I was very shy before getting into theater. And so I never thought I would do it, theater. And with enough convincing, she was able to get me on board with the idea. And so, regardless of me being willing to do this play, I was so nervous to be in front of people for the first time, and performing in front of people. But after we bowed to the audience and just all congratulated each other on the job well done, that's when I really understood all of it, really. And I just fell in love with performing, and I just got so into it that by my senior year of high school, I was a president of the drama club, and I began directing plays as well as acting in them. Not only that, but theater has essentially changed my life. And like I said before, I was a pretty shy person, and theater has made me want to go out there and be more, and not be afraid to look stupid, because just that whole environment of feeling comfortable around people, it creates such a strong unity of feeling like you belong. So now that I've talked about how the Director's Megaphone represents theater culture and how I identify with it, you hopefully have a good understanding of theater culture. Go watch a play, and I promise you won't regret it.